It's time to get your calendars out of your stash. Hey besties, it's Lisa. Welcome or welcome back. In today's episode, we're going to craft with Dollar Tree calendars. 2024 Farm Life Calendar. So we're going to take the December page, which is so pretty with the mason jars and the poinsettias. I love it. And then I've got this cutting board that I got from the Target Dollar Spot. Oh, it's probably been a couple years ago now. And one side has some little etched flowers, which I will leave because it's beautiful. And the other side is blank, and that's the side that we're going to work with. So the first thing I'm going to do is lay the cutting board right on top of the picture so that I can center it and draw an outline around the shape so that I will be able to cut it out and get the exact, amount that will fit perfectly on the cutting board. So easy. I mean, honestly, this particular project is incredibly easy, and I think it might be my favorite today. So it just goes to show you it doesn't have to be complicated to be your favorite or to really love it. So now I'm just going to cut out the shape, and I'm just going to go all the way around where I traced the little circle. My goal is to inspire you. Even if you don't make something with the exact supplies or the same way I did it, I just want to inspire your creativity. So if you enjoy that and you enjoy these videos, please hit the like button and subscribe. I'm going to trim some more off the top because what I'm actually going to do is fussy cut around it. Fussy cutting is just when you go as close as you can to the shapes that you have, and you see I've done that right there. I'm going to take my Mod Podge. I happen to be using matte. I'm going to cover the whole thing. You can use glossy, you could use polyurethane, whatever you want. I just happen to have my Mod Podge handy, so I thought I would go ahead and use that this time. But honestly, whatever you want is fine. All right, now I've got all my Mod Podge on there. I'm going to lay down my calendar page cutout and just kind of push it down. And then I'm going to take a piece of saran wrap and my brayer. Now you can find my brayer in my Amazon store. I use this thing all the time. It's awesome to get out bubbles and make sure something is really flattened and adhered. So I'm just going to rub that over, and I use the saran wrap so that I don't get any of the Mod Podge on there, and spread it around and rip the paper. Now I'm going to take off the little twine hanger that came with it because we're going to end up adding a white mop head strand to the top. It'll look cuter, I think, with this one. Now I'm going to take a paint can. I'm just going to trace that sort of like partial circle around there. We're turning this cutting board into an ornament. So first thing, I'm going to take my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint. I'm going to paint that area that's the hanger with the white, and then I'm going to take a metallic silver paint and I'm going to paint over it. And the reason I'm doing that is the silver will look much brighter with the white underneath it rather than just the wood. So that's just a little tip for you. I did do the silver off camera, and now I'm going to take a clear glaze, go outside and spray it. And look how cute it is. I've added the hanger, and I love this one. It's going to look so bright and cheery in my kitchen. Farmer's Market calendar, and I cut out the December picture, which is this Farm Fresh Christmas trees that I love. And because I use everything that I have at home, I have this huge piece of cardboard that was very thick, and I used a blade to cut it to size, and it had a couple of folds in it, so I put some craft sticks on there just to hold it more sturdy. It was very thick, but it had that bend in it. So I hot glued those on the back to make sure that it would stay very sturdy. And then because the calendar has the white on the back side with the dates from the previous month, I painted the front of the cardboard in my ink Waverly chalk paint, and that way you won't see those lines. It's just a simple little thing you can do, and you don't have to worry about, what happens afterwards as far as seeing lines or dates or anything like that. And then the little hole where you hang up your calendar? Well, of course you can see that. So underneath the actual calendar page and on top of the black, I put a little bit of plaster color there just to kind of camouflage that. And then I put a glue stick all over the back, and I went to put it on my cardboard, and for some reason it didn't stick. So when I put it directly on the cardboard and then rubbed it down, it did stick. So that worked great. And I used my brayer to flatten it out and make sure there were no little places that weren't touching. Now I'm going to go in with my Antique Wax by Waverly and start distressing the edges lightly. And also there's little planks on there, so I wanted to make it look like it was a real wood sign, so I started to accentuate those. Now if you know me, you know it's never enough. So I'm like, well, this doesn't look old enough yet. So I used the Antique Wax to start going in and distressing the whole sign. Well, then you couldn't see my plank lines, so I needed to go back and get my ink paint and bring them out a little more with that. So then I did the edges, and you can kind of figure it out from there. But I'm very happy with how it looks now. This is much more aged and distressed, and I feel like it looks like it's been hanging up for years. I got some nautical rope from the Dollar Tree and I cut it so I could start hot gluing it around the edges, and that would be my frame. And I love that rustic look, and it just keeps it a little lighter. It's easy to hang, and at the end I put a little bit of jute twine to hang it, and that's it. This one is done. Super cute, super easy, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. Let me know if you've ever made a sign out of a calendar page. It's really fun and easy to do. I'm just thrilled with how it turned out. I hope you guys like this one. My husband loved it. I was so excited too, because then I could hang it up anywhere I wanted in the house. That amazing calendar that's so hard to get that was gifted to me, and on the back there's little teeny pictures of each of the months, and I thought, well, why can't I use those too? So I cut out the December one and another one that says creamery, because I figure one side will be Christmas time and one side will be like winter. And I have a little jar that I'm just recycling that I had, and I'm using an adhesive called Tight Bond that dries clear and is very permanent. I just wanted to try it out. Someone had recommended it, so I attached that to the jar, and then I'm going to use my brayer to make sure it's on there nice and smooth, and I'm going to add some Mod Podge over the top just to make sure it's clear, and then I'm going to do my saran wrap to smooth the whole thing over and make sure there's no bubbles or any edges sticking up. And I'm just going to repeat the same process with the other side to attach the other little sign. For the lid, I'm going to do a faux galvanized effect. I'm going to use Waverly chalk paint in ink and elephant, some white paint, and some metallic silver. And this technique, I'm going to use some pick up sponges from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to dab on each of the colors one at a time until I get the look that I'm going for, which is that kind of like galvanized metal look. And I didn't show it, but I do take my blow dryer and I dry each color before I move on to the next so that there isn't any smudging. If I was going for a super old distressed look beyond just galvanized, I would have also added some burnt umber from Apple Barrel and just kind of made it look a little rusted, but I didn't do that because I wasn't distressing the sign itself this time. This red and white kind of twine in the automotive section at Dollar Tree. So I cut off a piece and I tied it around the lid. And then I'm going to take some jute twine and I'm going to kind of double it up and make a bow. And I'm going to hot glue that right in the center of that little knot that I just made, just to give it a little bit of a festive look and feel. I got some Epsom salts. I had some already at home, but they do sell it at the Dollar Tree. I put some glue on the side towards the bottom, and I just sprinkled the Epsom salt on it to make it look like it had snow. And it's such an easy thing to do just to create such a cool festive effect. I put a little battery tea light in there, and boy is it cute. Oh my gosh, do you guys love this? I know I do. I think it's just adorable, and I really hope you like it. And then there's the other side, and I'm going to switch it after the 2022 Farm Fresh calendar. And I'm going to take the December page. I'm going to use an old jar that had pickles in it and some Mod Podge. I'm going to take some rubbing alcohol and just clean off the jar. I had already taken off all the labels and just going to make sure there's nothing sticky left on it. Then I'm going to cut just the trees out. I'll save the part that says Christmas trees and Farm Fresh because I might use that again in a future DIY, so I'll just put that aside. And then I'm going to cut out each of the trees, and once I cut them out, just the basic cutout, I will go around and fussy cut them, where I will cut around the little points and, just kind of make it as exact as possible. Now I'm going to just see what it's going to look like to put it on the inside. I don't want to see the back of the calendar, and since there's nothing behind it, I'm going to paint with my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint on the back and dry it off. Now I'm going to take some Mod Podge. I'm just using the matte Mod Podge, and I'm going to do one tree at a time and just paint the Mod Podge on the inside. Then I'm going to push the tree on the inside, kind of rub it down the best that I can. I'm going to do the same for all 3 trees. And I do go back in and cover the backside with the Mod Podge as well. So there it is. Now what I want to do is, I was going to dry it off, and then I thought, wait, while it's still wet, let's add some of this little iridescent snow that I have. I think it's from, I don't know, Dollar General maybe, or Hobby Lobby. Anyway, I'm just going to sprinkle it in while the Mod Podge is still wet, and that way it's just going to fill in those gaps between the trees, and that's just going to add that cool kind of iridescent look to it. See what I mean? Now, of course, the Mod Podge is still wet, so it's still, you can't really see through it yet. Next thing I'm going to do is, I've got these fairy lights that I order on Amazon. They'll be in my Amazon store, and they come like 6 in a pack. It's a very good deal, and I love the way they look, and they come with a battery in them. You cannot beat that. And this is going to be such a pretty thing on a shelf with the light up. And then I found this cute little holly pick that I just had in my stash. I'm going to pull it apart so I can add each piece individually. So it's got 2 little sets of 3 leaves. I'm going to go ahead and put that on the top with some hot glue, and then stagger the other set of 3 leaves, doing the same thing with the hot glue. And then I'll take the little berries that came in it, and I'll put them right in the center, again using hot glue to hold it in place. I will go around and kind of tack down the different leaves with some hot glue onto the jar, because they were kind of sitting unevenly, and I thought it just looked a little better to have them laying more flat. Such an easy project, and it's so pretty. I love the light up type things. And so there you go. I've got the top on, and that is it. Oh my gosh, I really love this one. Definitely has that snowy look. So here's a view with the lights on around it, but not the lights on the inside on. And then the next view is going to be a little bit darker with the lights on. Now, of course, in a darker room, that's going to look amazing. For this Dollar Tree calendar hack, I'm going to use the 2024 Everything Matters calendar and the December page that says Merry Christmas. I've got these 2 wood planks from the Dollar Tree. They were in the Crafter Square section. I love them. I'm going to take a sanding sponge and just go around the top edges on both pieces, just so there's nothing too sharp or splintery. Now I'm going to cut just like a circle around the little picture with the Merry Christmas words, and it doesn't have to be perfect, because you'll see what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of blend it into the wood. First thing though, I'm going to paint in sections the back to cover up those numbers, and I'll just keep drawing as I go, otherwise it curls up really fast. So now I'm going to take some masking tape, and on the front I'm just going to put it across the seam, turn it over, and then take hot glue and put it right in the back seam. This holds it in place so that the glue can dry. Then I'm going to take some popsicle sticks, craft sticks, whatever you want to call them, and I'm going to put 4 of them on the back going horizontally just to secure it even more. I've got this really pretty jute or sisal rope, and I'm just going to cut a piece, and I'm going to hot glue it to the top as a hanger. Then I'm going to remove the masking tape, cut off a couple little pieces, and just put some masking tape with hot glue on the end of the hanger. That makes it very secure. So now I'm going to take my spritzer, which is just a little mister I got on Amazon, spray some water on there, and then take my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint and kind of whitewash the wood very lightly. Then I'm going to put some Mod Podge down, like I'll do the top first and then the bottom, and set down my calendar page. Now, once I have the bottom and the top secured, I will put a piece of saran wrap over it and use my brayer. Like I said before, this is just one of my favorite ways to secure something, for Mod Podging, or decoupaging. It's one of my favorite ways to do it because it really helps flatten out whatever the thing is you're putting on. I'm going to go back to my paint, and I'm just going to add a little bit more paint. I'm trying to blend the picture with the white on the wood so you can't see like the cutting lines as much. I mean, you can see them a little, but not unless you look super close. And so this is blending it. Then I'm going to put a little bit of the paint on my brush, and I'm going to dry brush across the top a little bit too. I've got these really pretty kind of gold glittery picks from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to snip off the ends and make a swag on the top left corner and the bottom right corner and hot glue them there. And then I've got these gorgeous kind of burgundy colored berries, and I'm going to cut off some little berry pieces, and I'm going to hot glue them right in the center of each of those corners and just give it a little more interest. And I think this sign is just turning out beautiful. I can't get over how these calendar pages can make the most gorgeous home decor pieces. You have to let me know if you use them as well. And if you don't, why not? Because I mean, a calendar, $1.25, and you have 12 months plus the little pictures on the back. You get so much out of this. Talk about a great deal, and they turn out so pretty. This Dollar Tree calendar hack, I've got the 2024 Beautiful Life calendar, and I'm going to take the December page, and I've also got this like house-shaped bank from the Dollar Tree. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace the shape of the bank over that picture. But first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that backing. It just comes right out. And then I'm going to take my little scraper tool from Cricut. You could use a blade, whatever you want. And I'm just going to slowly scrape off the words. They're on the inside of this one. Now, some people like to use nail polish remover, but the scraper really does a nice job. Now I'm going to take that back shape of the house and put it right over the words Holly Jolly and outline that with my pencil. And then I'm just going to cut that out. That's what I want to put in there. We're making a bank where you could save up like money for Christmas. I thought that would be such a cute idea just to have this. So I'm going to put it on there. Of course, it always comes out a little big, so I'll go around and trim the ends until I get just the right size that I need. Then I'm going to take some Mod Podge and I'm going to lay it down on that little house backing. And then I'm going to add my little cutout that I did where it says Holly Jolly. And I'll just do that until I get the whole thing covered. And then, of course, I will put some saran wrap over the top and use my brayer to continue adhering it and making sure that there are no bubbles or wrinkles. And this just works so well. I love doing this. Now I'm going to take the Mod Podge and I'm going to cover it, because if you're going to put money in there, it could hit that and it might rip the paper or scratch it. So I thought better to put an extra coat of Mod Podge on the top and seal it. Now that it's dried, I'm going to reassemble the backing to the house. And there's some little indentations and some little parts that stick up. So you just got to squeeze them in there till they all, fall into place. It only takes a second to do. There we go. Now it looks a little plain to me, so I'm going to take this like glittery pick from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to cut it down a little bit. It's a little big for this one. And I'm just going to hot glue one to one side. The other side has the opening for your coins, so I didn't want to put anything there. And then I've got these burgundy berries, and I'm just going to cut off some and add them to the top. And I'll just continue to add them until I feel like I have enough that it just looks nice to me. You could do whatever you want there. Get a pine cone, whatever you think would be pretty. I just really like these berries. And anywhere there's any like white styrofoam showing, I just take a little red marker and I just kind of draw on that, and it helps you distract you from it. Unfortunately, it's a little lighter than the burgundy, but it works. It works just fine for this purpose. And I saw another little spot, so I thought I better add another berry. You can just keep doing it till you get everything kind of covered up there. I just love these berries. I think they're so beautiful. That is it for this one. It's so easy, and what a cute idea for putting some money. Give it to a kid who wants to save up to buy Christmas presents for somebody. I just think it's so fun and so cute. Let me know what you think. All Good Things Are Wild and Free 2025 monthly calendar, and there are so many cute months in this calendar. I'm going to take the December 2025 page and this sign from the Dollar Tree that has 3 different planks on it, and I'm going to cut out some of the words. But first, I'm going to sand off the glitter. Gosh, you guys, that with Dollar Tree and that glitter, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to take my burnt umber paint from Apple Barrel, just an acrylic paint you can get at Walmart, and I'm just going to paint over it. I'm not too worried about like great coverage or if there's a little, raised up part there where the glitter was. I just didn't want the actual glitter on there. I painted the back too and the post itself. Now I'm going to just carefully cut out a few of the words, actually 3 of the words on this calendar page, because we're going to make a cute little signpost for Christmas time. This will also be really cute, even I think, into the winter. I don't think it has to come down after Christmas. So just cut them out very carefully, and I'm going to trim them even a little further before I use them. So we picked mistletoe, snowflakes, and deck the halls. If you had a cutting machine, of course you could do this. You don't need a calendar, but I like doing the calendars. I'm going to take some white paint over the top of that and just kind of messy paint over the top of it, because I want to see some of that brown showing through so it looks like wood grain, and that really works well. I'm going to use some Mod Podge, and I'm just going to attach each of those words to the signs the best way that they'll fit. And if you notice, On that calendar page, it looks like they're on wood planks, those words. So it ends up matching. And I am going to, work on that with a little more paint just to make that blend even more. And when we're all done, I feel like it really looks like it's part of the sign. So now we're on to the last one, and you can attach it with any kind of glue you want. I just decided to use the Mod Podge. I'm also going to put the Mod Podge over the top to make sure that this is sealed. I'm going to cut off any excess by turning it over on a cutting mat and just using a blade. Now I'm going to dry brush that burnt umber color. So just put a little on your brush, wipe most of it off, and kind of drag it across until it looks like the whole thing is just one continuous piece. That was my goal here. I've got some really cute evergreen pics that I got from Amazon, and this kind of stuff is pretty much always in my Amazon store if you're interested in getting the same thing. And that link's in my description box below. Anyway, I'm just going to glue that on there until I think it looks nice. I'm going to put it in a couple of spots. I just want to kind of dress this little sign up. I'm picturing it as something you would see just sitting out in the woods somewhere, or like when you first get to a place, what's going on? Where do you go? Which direction? Now, there aren't arrows, but it's just the fun of it. And I added some really pretty red berries that came off of other pics that I had in my stash. And that's all I did to this one. It's so cute. It even has a hanger if you didn't want to put it in the ground, but you could do it either way, and I love it. Let me know what you think. I've got the Montage, actually it's the 2024 calendar, and I hadn't even opened it, but it's so cute. And the one for December has a really cute picture of this Christmas tree. I'm actually going to use the piece from the back because it's smaller, and we're going to use that little camera from the Dollar Tree. I'm sure we've all seen those and go, what are we going to do with this thing, right? Well, I came up with an idea. So I'm going to cut the picture out so it's small enough to fit on that circle that goes inside the camera. I'm going to use some lacquer chalk paint, which is just red, and I'm going to tape off some areas, and I'm going to put the red just where I want it. Now, obviously, you can paint this with any color scheme you want. I went with like red and green and black, kind of making it more Christmassy. So that's where I painted the red on the edges too. I'm going to pull off the tape, and yeah, if it got on anything else, I just touched it up. Then I'll take the fern color, which is basically green, and I started doing it, around the edges there. I did tape that up too. I tried to be really careful around the curved parts because I just didn't want to mess with the tape. And actually that worked out pretty well. You just go nice and slow with a small art brush, and then you just touch up anything you want. I did add some white to the top, and now I'm going to use a black marker, and I tried taping off the black marker. It did not work very well. So I would say don't tape it off. Just be careful when you draw because it bleeds underneath. And I'm not sure why a marker bleeds, but the paint didn't. But anyway, note to self, don't tape off lines like that unless you're using paint. So I just cleaned them up like I'm doing here with a little bit of a wider marker, and I was real slow and went steady as best I could. And actually that worked better. So just, there you go. Just be careful when you do it and go slow. After I finished all of the lines, I'm going to go into that round part and just fill that whole thing in. I'll go real carefully around the curve, and then I can just, fill in all the rest. Like I said, going slow is the trick here. It makes all the difference, and kind of steadying your hand, on the edge of it. If I tried to do it with lifting my hand, there's no way I could have done it. I would have been all over the place. So if you feel like, how could I do this? Just kind of steady the rest of your hand. So there it is, and I'm just finishing the last of the lines that I wanted. I'm going to use a paint marker and just draw like where the little flash and those kind of things are. I was looking at a picture of a camera, of course, and I wasn't going for perfection, but I did outline that also in black just to make it look more finished. Now I'm just going to trim off little teeny edges of the picture so it's not a perfect square. I did paint that piece that goes in the background red also. I did that off camera. And now I'm just going to glue that piece on, and then you put the little clear round piece over it, and you put the camera back together. Honestly, it was so fun to paint this camera. I've done one before. I made it look like a real black camera. This was years ago. I'm going to dress it up a little. I've got this cute little bow I got from Walmart that was already made. And then I'm going to trim the edge of a little baby pine cone, and I'm going to put that right in the center of the bow. I love using little baby pine cones. I just think they're so cute, and it kind of brings the outdoors in, and it just makes it feel very wintry. I love that feel. going to fluff my bow, trim the edges a little to make sure it's not too big for this little teeny camera piece. And that's it. This came out adorable. I love it. It would look so cute on a tier tray or a shelf, or if you wanted to hang it, you could make it an ornament. Let me know what you think. I've got the 2025 Count It All Joy calendar, and we are going to use this picture that is actually from December, but we're going to use the larger picture this time. I'm just going to cut that out. I've also got some stencils from Chalk Couture that are so cute. I'm just going to use a small portion of this larger one. I'm going to cut that piece out. And then I've got this leftover kind of paneling piece that I got from the hardware store for free. They had like a free pile. So the first thing we're going to do is add a hanger. So I'm just going to take some big rope from Dollar Tree. It's the larger nautical rope. We'll glue that on and then use a little bit of tape and also attach that. I used some, not masking tape this time, but like duct tape kind of thing. It's just much more strong of a hold. And then I'm going to fussy cut around this sled that's on the calendar page because I really liked it and I thought it would look so cute if I did that. So it took a few minutes, but just carefully used a blade on my cutting mat and cut that out. Now I'm going to take some Mod Podge, and on the left side of this piece, I'm just going to attach that cute little sled that I cut out. And I think it looks really nice on that kind of paneling background. And I'll also put a layer over the top to seal that in really well. I love how that looks. Now I'm going to take the piece of the stencil that I cut out. It says, "Welcome to our Christmas cottage." And I really like that. And I'll make sure it's on there really well. I'm going to use several different colors of paint. I'll just get that all on there. And once I have all the colors in all the places that I want, then I will just pull off the stencil. And I used mostly just red, green, black, and white for this one. But you could pick any color scheme you want. And there it is, so beautiful. I absolutely love using these stencils. They are fun. I'll take a blade and I'll just cut through that part where there's like already a line in the paneling, and I'll just cut off the piece of the calendar there and seal the whole thing with a clear glaze. So now I've got some evergreen pics that I got from Amazon. I'm just going to tie two together like a little swag. I'm going to use some twine. I've got a cute little pine cone. I'm just going to attach that right to the center, and I'm going to attach that at the top. I added a couple of poinsettias on there just for color and to dress up my evergreen pics. And then I went around the edge with like a little spatula kind of thing, and I roughed them up because I already had a couple rough edges. So I figured, why not rough them all up? And then it would look nice, like that's how it was supposed to be. So I just went around all the edges that didn't have that already, and that's it. I love how this turned out. You'll have to let me know what you think. This is one of my favorites today. I've got the Wings of Wisdom 2024 calendar, and it is a beautiful calendar. If you have this in your stash, you definitely want to pull it out. I hadn't used it yet, and I found this gorgeous piece picture for December, and I thought, what a non-traditional thing to do around Christmas. However, I also thought this would be beautiful for Hanukkah. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I think this could be just gorgeous. So I'm just going to cut around the circle, and then I'm going to take a blade on a cutting mat, and I'm going to fussy cut around all of those little flower petals. And I do have that gold charger from the Dollar Tree we're also going to use. This is such an easy piece to make. So once I fussy cut everything out, just put on a video, take your time. I use some Mod Podge, and I just put it on the center part of the plate first. And then I'm going to position the calendar piece on there. And then I'll go back around and get all those little petals. I wanted to be really careful because I didn't want to break them off. So now I'm just doing the top. I went over the whole thing. And I think this goes so well with the gold charger. Don't you agree? I mean, that is just beautiful. I did take some saran wrap. This is one of those tricks you can use when you're Mod Podging. And I took my brayer and I went over the top. And if you don't have a brayer, you could also use your fingers, but this way you don't get sticky. Now you have to make sure it doesn't dry, otherwise you'll pull off some of the calendar. And then I took some rubbing alcohol and a paper towel and I cleaned off all the excess. I've got several different ribbons here. These are all in my stash. So just look through your stash when you're wanting to make a ribbon, see if you have anything that would match. And I'm just going to cut several pieces. I'm going to dovetail the ends because we're going to make a cute little messy bow. So basically what we'll do is we'll have a couple pieces of each type of ribbon, and I'll make sure that the lengths are similar when I cut them out. We'll crisscross them, we'll tie them in the middle, and then knot that off on the back, and that creates a messy bow. And then you can embellish it any way you want. So here are the different ribbons that I chose. I love the pink and the blue together. I think it looks beautiful and it goes so well with this calendar page. So there I am, just cinching the middle and tying it off with some twine. And of course, we are going to fluff our bow quite a bit. We'll cut off that excess twine, and then we're going to hot glue it right to the top center of this charger. And oh my gosh, I love the way this looks. And then I have this little scatter foam from Dollar Tree. It's a gold star, and I thought it worked perfectly on this. I'm going to add some evergreen pics. Some of these are from Dollar Tree. A lot of the ones I have are from Amazon, but these with the glitter are from Dollar Tree. And they just looked so good on here with the gold glitter because the charger was gold. And I thought that was just perfect. Then I cut some little pieces just to kind of fill in along the bottom. I just wanted to add a little more greenery. I turned it over. I probably should have done this first, but luckily it wasn't too busy on the front. I added a hanger with some hot glue and twine and some tape like I usually do. And this one is done. This would be gorgeous on the front door, or if you had a huge wreath in the center of the wreath, or just to hang on the wall somewhere. I think it's beautiful. You'll have to let me know what you think of this one. Are you ready for more inspiration? I've got another video here I think you will really like. Click on it. I will see you there. You are truly a blessing to me. Bye.